Real quick guys, if you guys wouldn't mind, please be sure to consider going down your item shop and typing in BAY for your supported creator code, BEY, and then clicking accept. This will support me greatly and it will not cost you anything, so please be sure to do this, and let's get right into the video. Hey, what's up guys? Before we get into this video, I just wanted to mention that I've started my brand new business where I am selling all kinds of gaming accessories such as control freaks that you guys are seeing in this video. I'm selling these control freaks for cheaper than what they are on the Control Freaks website, and the shipping is completely free. You guys can get these at a discount, the exact same quality, the exact same product, and many others on my website. So please be sure to go check it out. Link in the description and in the pinned comment. Now, without further ado, let's get right into this video. Also, one final thing guys, all the gameplay in this video was recorded live at twitch.tv/beyondfps. It was streamed there. I play tons of games every single day. I'm probably streaming when this video is live. If I'm not, be sure to go and drop a follow because I will be streaming very consistently, and I just hit 900 followers. So please be sure to go and join my Twitch fanbase over there. So if you're watching this video, you're probably trying to get better at trios. Trios is one of the most diverse game modes that you can play in Fortnite competitively, and it is because of the fact that it is a perfect mix of teamwork and also individual playing. When you're playing solos and duos, you're mainly either relying on yourself or one other person. This, although is teamwork, it isn't as much of teamwork as trios is, and because of the fact that you have so much manpower and firepower in trios, it makes it a much more entertaining and fun game mode that's for competitive that people really enjoy. Now, the key in trios and one of the most important things that makes it different from solos and duos is the fact that you actually have a lot of resources. In trios, you have more firepower, you have more materials, you have more ammo, and you have just about more of everything because of the extra teammate that you have that you normally don't in duos and in solos. And because of this, trios is mainly all about sticking together. In solos and duos, most of the time you can either play for yourself or you could be pushing and flanking and playing separately, making separate decisions, separate plays, and still being able to dominate duos and performing well. In trios, however, you have to stick with your trio and you have to push with them. The reason for this is because a trio has a lot of power. They can have many different strategies, such as 2 people pushing and 1 flanking, or all 3 pushing the same player, and things like this. Because of the fact that this can happen, you always want to be pushing with as many teammates as you possibly can. You never want to be by yourself unless you're doing a flank and you know that you're safe, or if you have the opportunity to do so. And that is why one of the most important things in trios is to stick with your teammates and push together. You'll notice that in all of these games, when I am pushing someone and I'm going for a kill, almost every single time either one of the people in my duo, in my trio, or both of the people in my trio are with me, and they're helping me and assisting me get this kill. Not only does the extra firepower help, but just the fact that their body is in front of those shots, absorbing some of the shots that are being shot towards us, helps us more equally take damage and equally do damage back to the opponent. Another major tip for trios is to make sure that all the people in your trio are the exact same skill level as you, or they have strengths that you don't have and they have weaknesses that you also don't have. The reason for this is that basically the opposites that you guys have will complete yourselves as a trio. If you're good at something that your trio is bad at, you will balance out the dynamic of your trio and you will make your team better. But the other important part is that you have to be similar or close to each other in terms of skill. The reason for this is that if you are not and some of the people in your trio are better than the others, you'll run into the problem that many trios run into, where some of the players in your trio will start to get frustrated either by the lack of skill that the other ones have in comparison to them, or because of just differences in their play styles that don't mold well together that mainly have to do with skill. These can cause lots of frustration, problems, and a lack of balance in a trio, and that is not what you want to have when you are playing a team-based game mode. So, in order to battle this, you always want to have a similar skill level to your trio. Even if your trio isn't that good and you're not that good, improving together and basically playing together is the healthiest and best way to improve at the game as fast as possible. Sure, playing with better people will make you better, but most people that are much better than you do not not want to play with you because they are at a different level and they want to continue to increase their level. And if you make the mistake of trying to force yourself to play with people like this, you will get upset because you will get turned down and there will be problems within your trio's dynamic. Moving on to the next tip, your drop spot is insanely important for trios, and this is because of the fact that trios is much more different than solos and duos. In solos and duos, your loot pool isn't as heavy as it is in trios. In trios, you absolutely need to have insane loot, and you need to have a good amount of loot wherever you're dropping. Dropping in a very cold place that lacks enough loot for all of your trio will cause you to run into problems where you guys won't have decent loot spread out across your team. And this is a major problem that many trios will find because they're so used to playing solos and duos, because trios is a more rare game mode, that they will never really have a drop spot where all of them are comfortable at. I suggest looking at some YouTube videos for trio drop spots. I will also be uploading a best drop spots video soon, so be sure to subscribe to my channel in order to see that video when I upload it, and basically get a drop spot that's just good enough for loot and one that is consistent in the early game, meaning that you're not always going to be contested. Now the next tip is more specific to the end game, but it is insanely important. In trios, you will find that end games are going to be much more stacked. This is because the fact that having 3 players instead of 2 on a team means that more players will be alive in the end game, because the teams that will win fights will end up reviving an extra player compared to duos every single time. And if they're not reviving, they'll have the opportunity to reboot, causing there to be more teams and more players in the end game. Because of this, you always want to have a solid end game. In order to improve at end games, you guys need to keep these few tips in mind specifically. First, never rotate without your trio. One of the biggest mistakes that trios make when playing in competitive events is that they start to split from each other as soon as the end game comes. When those nasty storms come in, the ones that cause you guys to need to rotate very fast, and the ones that cause issues in the way that you're playing, will generally cause you guys to split, and this split is not good, because when you split, you're increasing the chances of you getting pushed and you getting overpowered by other trios that have stuck together and that are using their combined firepower to absolutely dominate over you guys when you are split. So in order to stick together, this is the best tip. Have an IGL, a designated player in your trio that is going to make all the decisions for rotations and the one that's basically going to guide all of you. This player has to constantly be giving callouts and telling you guys where to go and what to do. No matter what, you guys have to listen to this person, even if it's in a very sticky situation where you may not agree. Just the fact that all of you are on board and you're doing the same exact thing will aid you in being able to destroy everyone, because you will all be in unison, whereas other trios might not be focused up on the same goal. And by being able to have good comms and having a good IGL that is going to lead your team, you will be much more consistent, because the fact that you'll always all be on the same page and you'll always know what the other player is going to do. Now, besides having the IGL who's going to call all the shots, you also need to have a designated slayer, a player that is going to be taking all of the kills, and a player that's basically going to be staying back when tunneling, and a player that's going to basically be getting the kills while the other players are tunneling and making decisions. This player is usually a controller player, because the fact that controller players have a tendency to have better aim due to aim assist and just being better when it comes to cleaning up kills and getting them quickly. But it can always be any player. It doesn't always have to be a controller player. This is just a tendency that has happened quite often recently with pro teams, and I'm just letting you guys know just in case that you guys do have a controller player in your trio. Now, the other final player that is not the IGL or the slayer is going to be the player that is mainly going to be tunneling, and the player that's basically going to be keeping an eye out and taking in info constantly. The IGL also has to do this, but this player will be more of a support player, and he will give out important comms that the other players may not see. This player is going to also be looking for kills while also giving out comms, essentially a hybrid between an IGL and a slayer. This is the best way to format your team and your trio in order to get the best performance out of all 3 of you. Having a player that is doing both, having a player that is mainly calling the shots and keeping an eye on everything, and a player that is going to be slaying and cleaning up all of the kills. If you guys have this dynamic going on in your trio, you're sticking together, making good callouts, and always on the same page, your trio will advance many levels past what you ever thought possible. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I wish you the best of luck in the Fortnite FNCS and the future trio cash cups, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Thank you guys so much for watching, and have a great day.